With our next guest here on The Source, we could probably do an entirely different interview and talk to Mike Morreale about his legendary CFL career, catching passes, scoring touchdowns, winning Grey Cups. But we're going to talk to him about the Canadian Elite Basketball League and their second-year championships, which are all happening right here in Niagara at St. Catharines Meridian Centre. Welcome, Mike.
Welcome. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's a big undertaking, and I'm going to hazard a guess here that some of the major sports leagues across North America are going to be looking at what happens with the CEBL coming up in late July to see the feasibility of them doing a similar thing. Am I right about that guess?
Yeah, I think you are, as we will look to other groups at the Bundesliga and a bunch of other groups that'll start, either around the same time of us or before us. Not too many, so we are in a bit of a different class here, which is great. But it also, I think, more importantly for Canadians, we can introduce, safe protocols on return to play for amateur athletics as well. So there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of people that are scared, of course, and we can hopefully set the bar for a safe return to play that can be mimicked and copied. And it's not foolproof, as you know, because the virus is not as forgiving as people may say. So we're going to go through all the protocols and limit the amount of risk down to as much as possible. And I hope it does play out to exactly as planned, and we do serve as that kind of guiding light for others that want to try.
All of the players from all 7 teams will be convening in St. Catharines on July 15th, but some are already here.
Yeah, some are already here. We do have our international players that are here. They went straight from crossing the border into quarantine. So they're under a 14-day self-isolation lockdown, which, kudos to them for going through that. It's not easy. I'm sure it's not mentally tough as well, or it's not mentally easy as well. So they're going to manage that, and we'll help them, of course. But the others will join around July 12th and 13th. If they're out-of-towners, they're coming in the 12th, and our local players will be arriving on the 13th. And then we will have 6 of the 7 teams in town for training camp. 1 team will join us at the end of training camp here. They'll conduct their training camp at their home site. It just worked that way, and it made sense. And then we're on the court from a competition point of view on the 25th.
Are they all staying in one hotel, or have you had to book a number of different hotels?
They will be staying in one location. They will be sequestered from everyone else. We have 3 safe zones, if you want to call it. We have our accommodation safe zone. We have our training center, which training camps will take place for all teams. And then we have the Meridian Centre, which will act as the competition venue. So there'll be no access to that venue without going through your testing, depending on where you're accessing it, or screening. It's, let's say, a member of the media wanted to come, they'd be allowed to come in, but sequestered from, a playing area, etc. Everything is guided in protocols and risk management, the whole process, which adds many layers to what we're doing, but it's the right and safe thing to do. And we feel rather comfortable about our direction, and we've got great support from Dr. Hirji and the Chief Medical Officer in Niagara Region, and the other doctors locally and elsewhere that we've consulted with.
You also had conversations with the Minister of Tourism, Lisa MacLeod. How did that go?
Well, that's been great. I was kind of blessed to serve on the pro sport task force when this all started, and that was executive members from Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, CFL, CPL, ourselves. So we got a pretty good opportunity to connect with Minister MacLeod. She's obviously very pro sports, very pro Ontario and tourism and everything. Her duties are kind of pretty expansive, and certainly the Niagara region is big for her. She was down here last week from a tourism point of view. We've had great conversations, and we've had conversations at the federal level and conversations at the provincial level with other ministers' groups. So those have been really good because it's kept us to be on top of mind and able to share our story and keep us relevant.
Mike, one of my questions, I know the CEBL is headquartered here in St. Catharines. The league owns all of the teams that are involved, correct?
Yes.
How is money made if fans can't be in the stands?
Great question. There has not been any revenues to speak of since about the second week of March. I want to congratulate our fans. They have stuck by us. I think our refund rate is less than 5%. So over 95% of our fans are saying, no, we're going to ride it out with you, and we'll push our tickets over to 2021, and we're giving some benefits to do that. So that's been outstanding. And this is an expensive proposition, as you can imagine, but it's one that we feel is important to our players and to our coaches, the general public. We feel as a league and our teams will get a good boost out of it from, from a brand awareness point of view and being accessible on TV all over the world. But, it is expensive. We haven't had a stitch of revenue. So we're managing that the best we can as a startup organization. We feel quite comfortable that we're making all the right decisions. And we know that there will be a 2021. And that was my concern. I didn't want to jeopardize 2021 to try and do something this year, but we'll be good into the future. And I'm very happy about that.
The games will be carried on CBC Gem. Is there any revenue coming from that agreement? Any advertising revenue?
We have a rights agreement with CBC, so there is revenue there. There's obviously costs associated too from a production standpoint, and there's opportunities to get revenue through advertising or brand awareness on the court. All of our partners across the league have been really good in finding ways to continue to support us. So each team will have not only we won't just have the national brands on the court or visible. We'll have our team local brands as well when they play in market. So again, the staff has worked real hard to communicate and create those relationships and keep them. But there's no real other, nobody's coming to buy a ticket. And we understand that. We embrace that from even the planning stages at the outset. And we'll move forward with the knowns. And what we know is this is what's going to cost us. This is what we want to do. And primarily, we want to get these guys playing again.
First game is when?
First game is July 25th with a doubleheader. We'll get that actual schedule out on Friday, along with some other information about broadcast. And we're excited about it. And we go from the 25th through to August 9th, a couple days off here and there in between. Within a few weeks, we'll be crowning a 2020 CEBL champion.
We are starved for sports. Thanks for your time today, Mike, and good luck with the tournament.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.